Hey guys, happy weekend. Uh, it's been a busy week, and I'm sorry for like not being very active and not hosting a meeting this weekend. But I think since like we're all super far apart, um, this video thing might actually work out really well. Then I'll make a video, take the updates, and then we can meet once a week or once every 2 weeks or just whenever we can. But I'm hoping to do a meeting soon, definitely soon. But this is definitely a busy time with school and exams right now for me. But we'll do a meeting soon. And this video is supposed to be about Streamlit because me and Ryan realized that knowing how to use Streamlit is really valuable for like AI specialists and especially like testing out products and put into like deployment or just testing out the outputs in like a nice UI. It's really easy to set up too. And so for prototypes and hackathons and stuff, I think Streamlit's the way to go when trying to show things like retrieval augmentation or showing like chat outputs pretty much. You can make chatbots in there, but it's mainly for like chat outputs. And I'll show you guys an example of that at the end of this video. You can skip to that if you want to, but I was gonna make this video all about Streamlit, but it's not gonna be all about Streamlit. Um, I watched three videos. There's kind of like some breakthroughs with retrieval augmentation. As weird as it sounds, I didn't plan on that happening, but there were some breakthroughs with retrieval augmentation, and so I have to mention those first. Um, they're shown in three separate videos, and I'll put the links in the description. And I'm kind of just gonna explain to you what the videos talked about now, but I definitely encourage you guys to watch the videos and watch for yourself. And if any of you guys are interested in um, have any questions or whatever, hit me up. And if any of you guys are working on any projects for retrieval augmentation or like with testing it, um, first of all, feel free to go make your own thing, make your own retrieval augmentation bot on your own data. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Um, I'm here to answer anything as best as I can. But this first video is really cool. So we know that right now we have a large database usually, or like a lot of documents, a lot of chunked text and just raw text. We put that into a vector database. For our case, it's Pinecone, right? And when we perform retrieval augmentation, we're retrieving the chunks of text. And let's say we retrieve 25 chunks of text. It's the most relevant chunks of text based on like a semantic search. So like I'm not sure how the semantic search is done. I think it's done based off of like how close the embeddings are to the query embeddings. So like how close like the vectors in the query are to the vectors in the text, you know? And so it returns for this case, let's say 25 chunks of text. But over here for our query, we're asking a question, and we don't want vectors that are not specific to answering the question, even if they're close in the like even if their vectors are close, even if the meaning of the words are close to the ones in the query, we want um, we want chunks of text that are going to answer the question, answer the query, like answer it the way we want it to be answered. And so what this breakthrough was is that they essentially search for things twice. They return the documents, the relevant chunks of text based on like a regular retrieval augmentation, but then they run it through an AI that re-ranks it based on the best documents for your query. So the best documents to answer your query, pretty much, which is really cool. Whenever James Briggs drops a video, I gotta watch it right away. And this is definitely a cool one. I definitely recommend trying it out, but an issue is that he used a data set that's really big, and so it might cost like $4 to like embed, and that's just like not worth it. Um, but I tried to use my own data set and I couldn't. I barely tried though, but I would recommend trying to use your own data set or use a different or a smaller data set. Maybe you can use his data set, but limit the amount of data uploaded. Um, and then yeah, try it for yourself. Try it out. It's just a look at it. It's just rag but better. Like that's all you need to know about this video. Really cool though. Okay. Second video is this by Sam Wativan. He's also great. And I'll send the links to these videos in the chat, Discord. Um, this one was a little confusing, and you should definitely watch it because he can explain it way better than I can. But it was pretty cool, pretty useful. I don't think I go too in depth, but it kind of like queries the fields of data that you're talking about. I think um, it's a cool way of retrieval augmentation. I'm not too familiar with it. I won't go too in depth with it. Um, and then this video by Echo Hive. So this guy's really good actually, but his voice kind of sucks, and he only puts his code on like a Patreon, which a lot of it is like behind like a paywall, which really sucks. But he has really good code, and this video is awesome. So this video talked about like trees. So a different way to do retrieval augmentation that isn't really retrieval augmentation. So a different way to chat with a large chunk of text essentially is people will so we have like token limits, right? Let's say the token limit's like 2,000 tokens. And if you have a book or like a short novel that's like 20,000 tokens, you can't upload that to ChatGPT and give it to it as context, right? You can't do that. So what people do is they use vector database to retrieve augmentation, or they do 2,000 token chunks and summarize it, and they do that for the entire book, and then they put two together and they summarize that, and then they put like three together and they summarize that, and then so at the end you have one summary of all these other summaries, right? And so people have been chatting with those summaries, which is like that works, that's cool. But what this shows you is you can chat with the main summary, but then there's actually an LLM that will go through and find the path to the most relevant original summary, original chunk of text. So you show here, let's say it's 2,000 tokens each, right? And they summarize that. And then they put four together and they summarize that. And then they put two of those together and they summarize that to one big summary. And then you query that summary, okay? And then it finds the path to the chunk of text that's most relevant to the query and returns that. Really cool video. Sadly, we can't get the code unless you pay for his Patreon. It's like $30. But that's super cool because you don't need a vector database to do that. I'm not experienced in doing that, but super cool stuff. Recommend looking into it. And this is definitely some cool stuff for like retrieval augmentation in general. I'll keep an eye on this stuff in the future. All three of these could be extremely useful. I'm not sure which one's the most useful at, but this one could be really cool for not using a vector database and for dealing with a lot of different data, because I feel like you can experiment with this with different types of data, and it can trace back to the most relevant chunk, and that's just really valuable for returning the source of where you found your information. Okay, so now Streamlit. This is definitely the coolest part because you can actually use it's like something you can use right away, and like it's something that you can show your projects on, which is awesome. And so I based my Streamlit. I'm gonna use my example based on this video. This guy is great, AI Jason. You guys probably seen him if you looked up AI tutorials. He used LangChain to make a chatbot that searches the internet and then summarizes it and returns the sources in like a really good format. Honestly, this code's really good. And he shows how you can just the Streamlit part is the easy part. Streamlit's great because you can focus on the back end more. You can focus on like the guts of your project more. And then the front end doesn't matter. Like the front end's handled for you. Streamlit handles it for you. It's so easy. And so in the next week, I'm gonna make a tutorial video on how to use Streamlit. And you guys know I'm not a very good coder. So by teaching myself how to do it, I can hopefully teach you guys how to do it. And then by next week or the week after, you guys will know how to use Streamlit and deploy your own prototypes and play around with like little whatever you guys want. And so you guys can make your own retrieval augmentation bots, and you can have your friends try it out, or you guys try it out yourself and just have it for yourself if you want, honestly. But so this video goes into building one that does research for you. And there is actually one called GPT Researcher, and this was super cool, but I couldn't get it working that well. And just the video I'm gonna show you is it's more simple, but this one is really cool. As you can see here, and this uses Streamlit as well. So it does it goes through agents, and it does like a big research paper. While this video kind of does it for like tweets. The idea behind it was like he wanted to make an automated Twitter bot that just like constantly research certain topics, right? Like the most relevant topics. And I think this guy's one is actually better than this to an extent. Excuse me. And yeah, so I'll show you guys how it works up here. Let me pull it up. So I ran it on my computer, and here it is. And I looked up multimodal vision models for desktop. And ran that. So I'll do a new one though. I'll do retrieval augmentation. Recent breakthroughs. I can't spell, of course. Oh, great. I'll just do that. Okay. Maybe it's not better. I only did one query before, so we'll see. But this is Streamlit, running on localhost, and there's an option to like deploy and simple text input, simple like design, and then it's just really simple UI. It shows you how to do stuff. So the last one would return links. This isn't returning links though, but it's still giving sources, which is good. Like the papers it used. That's super cool. And so I hope you guys can play around with this, and look at multimodals. So multimodal visual language models. Hopefully that returns something cool. So this is actually really cool, just code available on the internet. You guys can use for yourself and just have like an automated like research bot, pretty much. That was the idea behind it. It can research anything. And you guys can play around with the code as much as you want. There's like prompts. You can do some prompt engineering over here with the tools. So use the search tool by SERP API, and you guys could do an API key for that, but it's free. And then you can do some prompt engineering here for the system message. That is pretty cool. So learning how to use these tools, like implementing a tool into an AI and then giving a system message, like that's really all you need to make like a MVP like prototype for these, like for a hackathon or just for like a random idea you have. And so this Streamlit is literally, is it just this code? I think this is the code for Streamlit. That's the entire code for the front end UI, which is crazy. That's wild. Like that just means you don't have to worry about the front end UI. You can worry about the back end as much as you want and like make the back end better and better and better, while the front end's, it's handled. It's taken care of. That's pretty cool. You can do like emojis on there too, just like the bird emoji. So in the next week, we'll look into Streamlit, and I advise you guys to YouTube Streamlit as well for yourself. Super cool, and really just a great tool to have on our belts. We can actually just make an AI product whenever we want and like have people use it, and it gives you an option to deploy, which is also very cool and awesome. Look, it like returns links. Like that's sick. That doesn't work, but that's sick. Okay, and then side note tangent thing is what I've been working on. and why I've been so kind of like busy from retrieval augmentation, because I am interested in retrieval augmentation a lot, but it's just a one aspect of this AI universe. It's just a tool to have in your toolkit pretty much when creating a chatbot or an AI of any sort, really. What I'm really interested in now is these visual language models, and there's this new thing called AutoGen that I sent into the Discord, but no one responded. Um, and AutoGen essentially has two LLMs communicate to each other, and god damn it, I do my API key every single time. That's getting cut out. AutoGen has two AIs talk to each other, right? So it's 20 lines of code. This is like the most basic as it gets, and it gets more complicated down here with like group chats and like function calling. But at its core, you can have multiple chatbots talk to each other, right? But then you can have each chatbot be a different model, be fine tuned, have a system message, um, given functions. So by the end of it, you could have one chatbot who's really good at planning out how to complete a task. So the user gives a task, the planner plans out a plan and then disperses it around each chatbot. Like it tells each chatbot, right? There's like five chatbots to say. I guess the best way to show it is like in here. I like using Obsidian a lot. So um, here we go. There's a planner, and then a coder, and then an analyzer, and then API, and then summarizer, right? And so they the user can send a query in. It goes to planner. The planner plans a plan, and then sends all this out, and then they um, respond to I don't know. You could say the answer, right? And you can set up this flow at a high level. You set up a flow and have like use LLMs as like the backbone of an application, which is really cool. It's like this is insane because the coder can literally write code and execute it inside of a file in your VS Code. I've never seen the likes before. So, what a good example for this is like I did hacker news, but I can really send anything. And this is just the most simple file possible, right? But it's going to have the assistant LLM talk to the user proxy. And the user proxy is going to execute code in the coding working directory. So, right, it's going to make a code file right here, then execute it. And so it uses GPT-4 to code, and then it like runs the code, which is so powerful. And I'm definitely looking to make an application for this. I want to make an application. Well, I guess I'll show it to you guys. I'll show you guys first. It can literally do anything, like any code that ChatGPT can do. Just like it runs it though. So what are the top stories? How about what are the top posts on Reddit today? Right. So in order to get that, it's gonna have to run like the Reddit API, and so okay. So you can see the conversation here. Okay, it started here actually. So I'm sorry, but I don't have access to your local file system, so I can't execute the Python code on your computer. However, if you provide me with the content of the file onebasic.py, I can help you. Okay, let's see what's going on here. That's weird. Huh. Okay, so now they're talking to each other. So it asks for human input, and you can send that. You can turn that off if you want to. But essentially, it's having the assistant tell the coder saying, "Okay, import OpenAI." It appears trying to import OpenAI to the module in your code. However, to use OpenAI, you need to install OpenAI library. Tell it to pip install OpenAI. It says import AutoGen. install autogen, and then it executes all of this stuff in my terminal for me. And the output you provided indicates the autogen package is already installed in your environment. You can now proceed with the import. So they're literally talking to each other. This is crazy. And you can have a group chat of like 5 of them talking, and as you can see over here, it's making the file. So it's literally GPT-4 talking with a coder, GPT-4, and it's writing the code, which is absolutely insane. I mean, this is crazy. Then when it runs to a wall, it asks AGI, which is myself, like a question. It's my input for more context or whatever. And so this is an application is going to be so cool. This is going to be crazy. So I think what happened is it just rewrit the entire file, and now is doing it again itself. I don't know why. That's a little weird. Okay, let's see what happens. And so where I think this is going to go is it's going to communicate with a vision model, and this is going to be for driverless cars, for robotics. But what I want to use it for is for like a driverless car for your computer, and I'm really obsessed with this idea. Like having a vision model that understands the contents of your computer, um, and then there can have one write code to move your mouse and click. And so in the end, you have a group chat of them, but one's gonna move your mouse and click. Um, let's see what's going on here. And so, in the end, you're gonna have a user, like a person, put in a task for an application, and the task is gonna be sent to the planner. The planner is gonna plan out how to complete this task, and then it's gonna be sent to a vision model to look for the things needed to complete the task. There must be an error going on here with this. I don't know why it's doing that, but I'll do. You guys get the gist though. What do Hacker News? Clearly, it needs some help, but it's probably a small fix. It was working earlier. I don't know why. So what's gonna happen is a user's gonna send a task to the planner. The planner's gonna plan the plan, and they're gonna talk to vision models. They're gonna talk to a coding model. They're gonna talk to a planning model, and then you can fine tune each step of the process. Actually, yeah. So I said find the top stories in Hacker News today. It found the stories with the URL actually, which is pretty crazy. That's nuts. And if you go to Hacker News, FPGA N64, and that's the first one, FPGA N64, right? And so where's the code that it wrote for that? So it wrote code right here. It wrote it for it, and then it executed the code itself, and it pretty much called the Hacker News API, and found like the top however many stories for today. And that to me is absolutely wild, because you can do so much with this technology. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is wild. And so I'm really interested in this, but I'm obviously still invested into retrieval augmentation. And so we will work with the Streamlit applications, and maybe we can do a Streamlit application with retrieval augmentation. There's one of the LLMs can have retrieval augmentation, and it can be part of the AutoGen group chat. So we can maybe move over to like the multi LLMs communicating with each other, because I think that's the future of like multimodal models, pretty much communicating with each other, and then retrieval augmentation can be a tool of that. It can be just an aspect of it. So I'm really excited about that. This is where we're going in the future, going forward, and we'll look into Streamlit more. And then next week we'll probably do a workshop of some sort. where we can all meet up and or do a Zoom or something, and we can build a Streamlit application using retrieval augmentation on our own vector database. Just super simple stuff. But yeah, after that, you guys should have a great skill you can go out into the world with and show off. But other than that, have a great weekend, and let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.